Good afternoon, class. So today is 8th of January, and the first news is related to the Biden win confirmed amid pro-Trump mob attack. So we will not go into this. This is a internal problem of United States of America, and there is no need for us to go into this particular issue. The point we have to study today is the GDP that is likely to contract by 7.7% this fiscal. So basically what is happening with the GDP that we are contracting. We are still in the contracting phase. I hope you understand that in the first quarter, GDP had contracted by minus 23.9%. In the second quarter, I think we went to somewhere 7.5%. Ultimately, the first half of the GDP show a decline, or the first 6 months of the GDP have shown a decline of minus 15.7%. And in the next two quarters, the estimate or the advanced estimate that the government have come up with are going to somewhere close to 0.1%. So basically, the estimate that the government is providing that we are going to see in the fiscal year 21 a total contraction of minus 7.7%. Please understand this particular thing, that we had a projection of 202 lakh crore or 193 or 191 lakh crore in 2019. So whatever our GDP was in 2019-20, we would be 7% less than that. So if you do that, then we will be 14 crore less than what we have already achieved in the year 2019. So 2020 will be a sham. The 2021 will again take us back to the level of 2019, and afterwards we can hope that after the fiscal year 2022 will end, because now the fiscal year 2022 will be starting from the month of March. We are currently in the fiscal year 2021 up till March, and after March we will be from 2021 to 2022. Now, apart from that, there are different things that are needed to be balanced. For example, with respect to the issues that how the GDP will grow, what are the various concerns, how the government should invest. We have, I think, talked in detail about how and where the government should be investing. Maybe the construction work and all other issues needed to be contained, and therefore they will help in basically bringing all the people into the economy or the cycle of the economy, and so that the economy could work again. So whatever we were in 2019, we will stay the same in the fiscal year 2021. Okay, even contracting the same, we will recover that in the fiscal year 2022 whatever we were in fiscal year 2020. Okay, so I hope this is clear. The next news is related to the bird flu. I hope you remember there is only a recognition of the bird flu. There are questions that are raised on how the government is being doing and why they were not able to basically recognize that what is happening in the state of Europe and all other countries. So what is the issue here? The issue is there are two strains that has been found, the H5N1 and the H5N8, and they have targeted different birds in India. So for example, H5N1 is taken up or has been carried away by the migratory birds who were coming from Central Asia, and also some part of, you can say, Mongolia and all other countries located into the region. When the winters come, they fly to the south of the Himalayas. Now, these birds have carried with themselves H5N1, and the another virus that has been detected in India is H5N8. So H5N8 and H5N1 are both the versions of the bird flu. We have already covered some of the versions of the bird flu, specifically related to all the strains. For example, H5N1 to H5N9, these are some of the strains of the bird flu. Now in Kerala, there are 69,000 birds who has already been killed, and with respect to the migratory birds, when we talk about, they are basically responsible for the long-term transmission. Now the problem, or the writer of this particular article accuses the government that already the government have a data with respect to the avian influenza that was occurring in the countries of Europe and in the countries of Asia, that there are some strains that are being found and enough measures were not put in place. But I think that is a very harsh criticism of the government. How can you stop the wildlife? If you try to stop the wildlife, then the environmentalists will accuse that you have restricted or directly interfered in the nature. You should not be doing this. But apart from this particular situation, I think the vaccination could have provided, or there could be certain measures that could be put in place. We are developing a vaccine for the humans, so there could be similar vaccine program that could be started in the birds, or certain birds could be, you can say, kept away from the local birds. Now the infection have traveled to the local birds, the poultry could have been protected from the avian and all those birds that were actually there. Okay, so that is how we are seeing this. Now that's why they have criticized, and the generic analysis basically tell us that the persistent circulation of virus strain is likely to be going to the wild birds in Asia, and there will be another thing that we'll be seeing in the upcoming months or upcoming some days, that more birds are likely to die because of the bird flu, and the infection could also travel to some of the primates and also to some of the maybe the persons who are carnivores. For example, dogs are there, dholes are there, the wild dogs of Rajasthan and all of the that are located around that particular area. So these are some of the things that are present over there. Dhole is also present in Karnataka. Please remember this. They are found, or they are called as wild dogs. The next one is that do we have a group on the disinformation in 2021? So these are two persons, Pratik Sinha and Rasmus Case Nielsen. And simple question about disinformation has been asked to them. You can read this on your own. Only the major points I have already told you. Whenever these interviews come, they only present the opinion. They do not give you any form of insights with respect to what to write in the paper. So how to use this information to write in the paper is the technique you have to develop by yourself. Now I will give you 3 or 4 points that are mentioned in this particular interview. So first of all, they have said that when we talk about disinformation, the first question arises to us that whether there is a particular law that is being available to contain the disinformation and to contain the spread of the disinformation. So currently we do not have any law apart from the fact-checking sites that are currently some of the fact-checking sites. For example, Alt News is currently available. For example, Pratik Sinha is the co-founder of the Alt News who fact-checks the website and whether the news that is currently put on the website and all other online medias that are there is real or not. Apart from that, when we talk about the quantity quality, the issue with the quantity and the quality of the fake news, because the fake news is not increasing in quality but it is increasing in quantity. So more and more people are falling prone to fake news because the agenda has been increasing of the fake news. Now, for example, we have seen the fake news with respect to the CAA that has been used by some of the political parties, some of the organizations, some of communities that actually led to the Delhi riots in 2020. Then we have a political parties who are the biggest abusers. This is accused by some of the members who were sitting in the helm of the affairs. Now, why the fake news is required? So basically, he says that there are 4 P's in the system who require fake news. First of all is the power for the political parties. So if the fake news is marketed into the market, so it becomes easier for the political parties to win the election or push the propaganda regarding any of the issue that they want to do. The second one is the profit that is driven. For example, most of the people, if you see YouTube also, there are a lot of fake news, and even the I think if you have seen some of the news, they are presented in such a way. For example, I have not watched or not talked about followed any of the big newses with respect to the fake newses, because I think that is one of the advantage that why you read the credible newspapers. But if you read online, there was one news that I have gotten my eye upon, that particular video in which Modi has been accused and has been driven off from the country, have I think gotten somewhere around 1.3 crore or 1.5 crore views. And when you open the video, then you definitely know that it is Nirav Modi, but the common slang is that it is Modi. So that's how some disinformation is being created to make it popular. And we have also seen the same disinformation with respect to the, for example, with respect to the India team, you always hear this particular news that एक बड़े भारतीय player की हुई मृत्यु. And when you open that particular news, the player is not so big as such. So these are some of the things that are being used for profit. The next one is the profound public disagreement. So if there are a particular issue on which there are 2 unpopular opinions, the opinion on another side and the opinion on another side. For example, right now, the farmer bill is one of the contested bill in which the opinion on another side, one side, the Punjab and Haryana farmers are saying something and the farmers from the other places of India are saying something, the government is saying something. So there is a tussle that is currently going on online media in which there is a public disagreement regarding a public policy and regarding a public issue. So therefore, the disinformation is being spread so that more votes and more support or more sanction of the people could be catered to them. Okay. The next one is the platform companies. They also provide disinformation or the regulation of the disinformation, because platform companies, every person is free to provide any form of information. So if you go over there, a particular person, if it is have apprehension against any particular person. He spread disinformation even against individuals who are located in his offices or who are located in his you can say friend circle, and that is also increasing among the teenagers. So the body shaming, the image shaming, or different kind of blackmailing is also happening with respect to the disinformation that is being spread online. So the characters are now built of a particular human being online. They are being destroyed online, and that have actually led to a complete form of hierarchy in which the teenagers and the youth of our country is prone to more form of exploitation and more form of depression that they are currently saving, because for many period of years you are asking yourself for a sanction from a large amount of public who have nothing to do with you. So even a single opinion can make you depressed. If a particular person say that you look fat, you get depressed around this particular issue. So that's how the platform companies are also spreading disinformation of one kind or another kind. I hope you remember there was certain disinformation that was also spread online somewhere back, where it was said that the company have a dearth of sugar, the company have a dearth of salt. So most of the people went to the market, flooding the markets and buying the salt at a costlier price as compared to the actual MRP that was available. So the government have to come in, the government have to clarify on the forefront that there is no dearth of, or the no amount of less availability of salt, or there is no depreciation of the salt. There is enough salt in the country, and the people need to stop this rush. And these are some of the things that they have said and they have clarified. So these are some of the information that are currently spreading. So that's how to control these four major problems is the only thing that we have to say. Now the question arises whether the platform companies, the government have done anything. So the government is not doing anything because it is currently working in the favor of the government. So they have not put any stringent law, although they have made mention that the fake news should not be spread, but the political parties have not come up to a consensus in which they have agreed that the fake news should not be spread online. Apart from that, the online platform companies have provided help of the artificial intelligence, but the artificial intelligence work in mysterious ways. It does not, it is driven by the profits and also driven by the fact checking. So there are some facts, for example, in, I think last year there was a debate highly about I think the earth, whether it was flat or whether it was round. So most of the people started believing that maybe the earth is flat. I do not know from where these persons were coming, but I hope you understand that is how the things were actually going on. If you read first chapter of G.C. Leong, you will very well know that the earth is not flat. Okay, but you have to do that effort on your own. Most of the people, I think the person who believed in the flat earth theory were not prone or did not have NCERTs with them, or did not believe that how the basic sciences that have actually worked over the years, how it can be challenged. The next one is the getting ready for vaccination. Now this is training and more healthcare workers. So there is a particular organization called as ECO. So this is extension for community health outcomes. Now what is the issue here? The issue here is related to basically the providing and increasing the capacity of the health work professional, and this is a program called as ECO, which stands for extension for community health outcomes. Now the community health is basically providing services to the remote areas, because the urban areas, the doctors that are present in the urban areas, they cannot travel to rural areas. Therefore there is a dearth of quality care in the rural area. So there is a program called as ECO which focused on increasing the capacity of the health professionals, and as the capacity of the health profession needed to be increased, so they hope that the gaps in the rural healthcare will be filled. Now in that particular part, this program earlier was started for hepatitis C, and now it has been made responsible for HIV, malaria, TB addiction, mental health and many other conditions, in which the trainings are being provided to healthcare professionals, and the remote areas finally getting equipped with the urban areas. So he has suggested that the more training to the healthcare persons for the COVID experts is the way forward. We should provide more training to the rural health workers, because they are not providing the critical service that is desired by the rural area, and as the virus have traveled to the rural area, so more people will be needing the facilities that would be required. Okay, so I hope this is clear. The next one is Satya Paul. He's a person who died at Isha Yoga Center. Please read about Sadhguru. He's a very, I think, one of the entitled person of Hindu religion now. And Satya Paul, if you remember, this is a brand. He have established a brand. He died at Isha Yoga Center, has been residing there for 2015. And with the heart attack, he died in the hospital over there. He started a sari boutique in 1986, and then the premier brand, he was owned or has been transferred at the mental, or the his son is actually currently leading the brand Satyapal. That is 2000. So from 2000. So please remember this. The next news is related to new freight corridor, a big boost. This is said by Prime Minister. And 1.5 kilometer world first electrified double slack long haul container has been pushed. So double slack means there are double stories to the train. So this is electrical train who has a double story. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and this is contained in the freight corridor. Recently, the Indian Railways have put up this proposal that the issue with respect to, you can say, increasing the capacity or the efficiency of the trains is needed to be provided, and therefore they have agreed with this double slack container from going to one place to another. So that required powerful engines, and the trains are being electrified, which the government intends to do. Almost 100% electrification has been targeted for the railways by 2030. So that is one of the objectives that they seek to achieve, and I think will be very good for the country, both in tackling the pollution and also for the power consumption that is currently used in the country. The next one is the key nutrition committees failed to meet. Please remember or read about the two things I have already told you: the National Nutrition Mission, the latest NFHS National Family Health Survey report, the fifth National Family Health Survey report, what they have said about stunting, what they have said about malnutrition, and what they have said about wasting. And they have actually recognized the fact that the malnutrition has basically increased over the last National Family Health Survey. And apart from that, the Global Hunger Index have also placed India at the lower rank of 97 among 104 countries. So these are some of the things that you need to remember. Now, apart from that, the work that has been needed to be done by the key committees that should meet or should direct the parliament on the nutrition based policy, regulation, monitoring and implementation, they have not been meeting up regularly, which have actually led to the idle situation. So the different persons who were in the committee, they have given different opinions. Some people have said that the mechanism is in place, but it is not put to reality on the ground. Some people are saying that the government have taken, it is the empathy of the government, that the government is not putting anything into or substantial into the regulation of the National Nutrition Mission when it is mostly needed in the backdrop of the COVID. Apart from that, there is the iodine man of India. He said that he is very depressed and angry because the collapse of the nutrition system has happened and the situation have gone from bad to worse. Not because of the food that is not available to the people, but the nutritious food that is needed by the people. So that is one of the drawback that is there, and because of the increasing poverty also, we have talked about if the MG Narega allocations could be increased, maybe they could have ensured some of the nutrition of the poor families, but now they are not able to ensure this also. So that is one of the drawback that is currently happening over there. Okay, further moving on. Indian American named US first Army's first CIO. So this is Army Chief Information Commissioner. Just remember his name. Raj Iyer has been nominated. The next news is the Anti-Terrorism Code have issued an arrest warrant for Masood Azhar. I hope you remember how does this code function. The Anti-Terrorism Code has basically set this particular issue, and India have always accused Pakistan that whenever there is a sanction on, or the sword of sanction is always threatening Pakistan, they do such gimmicks, and when the people or the particular hearing of that particular case is out of the picture, then this particular person are let go of by the country of Pakistan or by the court of Pakistan itself. The next one is the fiscal deficit. I hope you remember what is a fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is basically the difference between the revenue and the expenditure that the government is currently conducting. And when we talk about this with the sources, then the government finances are in poor condition because of the shortfall in the tax receipts. We already know that right now the government have claimed that there will be a tax deficit of 3.5%. This is what they have said, and the worst that they have said will be going for 3.8%. But according to the new estimate that the government have revised, the estimate of the government itself is 7%, or the 7% is the deficit that they will receive or they are going to have by the end of the year. Okay, so that is one of the major drawback. How will India recover? The next news is related to State Bank of India. They have raised 600 million via bonds and they have issued it in the total bids of 1.9 billion. So coupon price has been issued. That is the interest that is there. Coupon rate of 1.8% is there. So why the bond market is important? So that the money could be taken for the development works and all the issues that are needed to be provided. The next one is the World Food Price Index rises for the 7th straight month in December. Now, please understand the Food and Agriculture Organization basically keep tracks on whether the food prices are increasing or whether the food prices are decreasing. In the background of this, the Food and Agriculture Association have said, organization, not association, Food and Agriculture Organization. The Food and Agriculture Organization have said that there is a monthly increase in the prices of the food products all around the country. We have already seen that most of the countries have actually basically started importing rice from India because the availability with respect to the inflation or the inflation targeting that India have been having for the past, you can say, 3 or 4 years when the MPC committee came in, has been on a pretty stable condition. So the food prices are increasing in the world. So we are exporting rice to China and we are also exporting rice to Vietnam. ठीक है? So इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. तो अभी के लिए इतना ही करते हैं. फिर नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में जो है नेक्स्ट लेक्चर शुरू करेंगे.